Miles Turner had always believed the world made sense. He believed in data, in logic, in patterns, in things that could be measured and explained. Working as a digital forensic analyst for the FBI had forced him to confront dark things. Homicide photos, encrypted confession files, stalker logs, but nothing truly supernatural, nothing that bent reality, nothing that stared back from the shadows. But everything changed the night he opened the file labeled Project Hollow Man, classified Level 5. He never should have opened it. He never should have read the agent's notes. He never should have replayed the audio. Because once you hear the Hollow Man, you can't unhear him. And once he knows your voice, he follows it. Miles had been placed on mandatory leave after collapsing at work from exhaustion. His supervisor recommended a break, somewhere quiet. So Miles packed his laptop, a coffee thermos, and his obsessively organized folder system, and drove toward a rented lakeside cottage in northern Maine, near Aroostook County. A quiet place where even the wind felt like it respected your privacy. The cottage was beautiful. Old wooden floors, large windows, a view of the lake that turned silver under the moonlight. Yet the moment he stepped inside, he felt something strange. A stillness, a pressure, like the silence was listening. He ignored it. He spent his days hiking, making coffee, reading, trying to feel human again after months buried in violent evidence logs. But on the fourth night, while unpacking his laptop, he noticed a folder that didn't belong to him. One he didn't download, one he didn't recognize. It was titled HM Audio Logs. He frowned. Impossible. His forensic laptop was offline. When he clicked it, a single audio file sat inside. Voice 001.wav. The file was timestamped for that very evening at 2:13 a.m., hours before he even opened his laptop. Miles hesitated only a moment before pressing play. At first, there was nothing. Then a soft crackling distortion. And then a whisper. "Can you hear me?" Miles froze. The voice was wrong. Neither male nor female. Flat, but layered like several people speaking at once in a monotone. Then the whisper sharpened. "Miles." He ripped his headphones off, heart pounding. The voice knew his name. He checked system logs, metadata, everything. The file had no origin path, no creation source, no codec signature, as if it had materialized from nothing. He should have shut the laptop. He should have gone to bed. But curiosity has a flavor, and he was already tasting it. So he opened the folder again. 2 new files had appeared. Voice 002.wav, Voice 003.wav. They had time-stamped themselves only seconds apart. Hands shaking, he opened the second one. A low hum vibrated through the speakers, too deep to belong to any human vocal cords. Then, "Do you like the lake, Miles?" His blood turned cold. The window beside him looked directly at the lake, but the blinds were shut. He hit pause. His reflection in the laptop screen stared back, pale and frightened. He shouldn't listen to the third one, but he clicked it anyway. This time, the whisper was closer, too close, as if the speaker's lips were brushing the microphone. "You shouldn't be alone tonight." He slammed the laptop shut. For hours he sat in silence, listening, waiting. Around 3 a.m., the cottage made a noise he'd never heard before. Not wood settling, not an animal outside. It was a sound like fabric dragging slowly across the floorboards, a soft, long scrape coming from the kitchen. Miles grabbed the nearest object, a heavy flashlight, and edged toward the hallway. His pulse thundered through his ears. The scraping stopped. Then, from the darkness, he heard it again.
Miles. He turned on the flashlight. The beam landed on the floor. There, dragged across the dusty wooden boards, was a long, thin trail, almost like something had been pulled or something had crawled toward his bedroom. Miles backed away, throat tight, flashlight trembling in his hand. No, this isn't happening. He barricaded the bedroom door with a chair and stayed awake until morning, gripping the flashlight like a weapon. When the first sunlight touched the floor, Miles finally gathered the courage to open the laptop again, not to listen, but to delete. But when he opened the audio folder, the files weren't gone. There were more now, dozens, all named with timestamps, some labeled with single words. Closer, 001.wave. Behind you, .wave. Turn around, .wave. Miles refused to click any of them. He tried to move them to the trash. Error. He tried to force delete. Error. He tried to wipe the drive. Error. The files would not leave. The silence in the cottage felt thicker now, like a living thing. He opened his FBI secure drive and searched for anything on Project Hollow Man. At first, nothing. Then he found it, hidden behind 4 layers of encrypted indexing. A single PDF, corrupted, half redacted, but 5 words stood out clearly on the first page. Do not listen to him. Underneath, scribbled in the margins, he learns your name first. And below it, written with shakier handwriting, then he learns your voice. Miles wiped sweat from his forehead. His throat tightened because he had spoken. He had answered the whisper last night when he said, "No, this isn't happening." He had given it his voice, his real voice. His chest tightened with panic. He grabbed his keys, ready to leave the cottage forever. But when he opened the door to rush to his car, a man was standing at the edge of the porch. Tall, skin gray and tight like old paper, limbs too long, head tilted as if bones inside were wrong. And his face, there was no face. Only smooth, empty skin, stretched where features should be. Miles stumbled backward. The faceless shape tilted its head even further. Then, it opened a mouth that wasn't there a second earlier. A deep, vertical slit, tearing slowly through the smooth skin. Not a mouth, a wound. And from the wound came a whisper. "Miles." Miles slammed the door so hard the glass cracked. He backed away, shaking violently, breath coming in short bursts as the whisper pressed through the walls like fog leaking through cracks. The thing outside scraped a long, slow drag of its nails across the wood. It was waiting. Miles retreated into the bathroom, locked the door, splashed water on his face. His reflection shook. He whispered to himself, "This isn't real." And then, the lights flickered. Every bulb in the cottage hummed. His phone buzzed violently. A notification. A new audio file had appeared. Voice inside. .wave. No. He didn't have to press it. He didn't have to. The whispering voice slid under the bathroom door, soft and crawling. "I hear you breathing." Miles covered his ears. It didn't help. The whisper seeped through his mind like ink bleeding through paper. "You opened the file. I opened the door." Miles grabbed his bag, hands trembling so hard he could barely zip it shut. He kicked the bathroom window until it shattered, cutting his hands as he climbed out. Blood dripped onto the grass. He didn't look at the porch. He didn't look at the lake. He didn't look anywhere except the path to his car. But halfway there, his body froze. There were footprints in the dirt. Dozens of them. Thin, long, wrong. They circled the car, over and over, as if someone or something had been waiting for hours. Miles got in anyway, slammed the lock button, and fumbled with the keys. The engine roared to life. And then, from the back seat, something exhaled. Miles. He screamed, jumped out of the moving car, rolled onto the dirt as the vehicle veered toward a tree. The whisper laughed, an awful layered sound that rattled inside his skull. Miles ran blindly into the woods. Branches tore at his skin, roots tripped him. Something followed. Not footsteps. Something else. A dragging sound. Long, wet, hungry. He didn't look back. Not when he reached town. Not when he found a motel. Not when he collapsed on the bathroom floor. For hours he sat under the running shower, clothes soaked, shivering. Sometime after dawn, he passed out from exhaustion. When he woke up, sunlight poured through the window, people walked outside, cars passed. The world was normal again. For the first time in days, silence didn't feel dangerous. He dared to breathe. Then, his motel room TV turned itself on. Static. Then, a faint voice through the speakers. "You can't outrun a voice, Miles." He screamed and unplugged the TV, but the whisper continued. Not from the speakers, not from the laptop, not from outside. It came from inside the room, and it said, "I found your name. I found your voice. Now I will find your face." Miles backed against the wall, shaking uncontrollably. The whisper grew louder. You opened the file. Now I open you. The light in the room dimmed. The temperature dropped. A long shadow unfolded across the carpet, and at the edge of the shadow, a tall, faceless figure stepped into the room. Its mouth slit open slowly, like a tear, stretching wider and wider and impossibly wider.